the tent.
Yeah,
It's
very. I mean, I won't say Game of Thrones esque because it came first, but in a sense, it's like
Game of Thrones.
It's very Game of Thrones esque.
Game of
where
Thrones
it's
is
like
a big dog, nigga.
Yeah, where it's like everybody has very self interested. Everybody's moving a certain way, and like he gets drawn into that because you got to play the game. You have to. It may not be what you want, but if you want to get what you want, you got to play the game. And so just that's how it worked out.
I'm glad that you said that. Speaking of Game of Thrones, we're gonna hit another comparison. This one I didn't tell y'all about because I want y'all
Game of Thrones question.
Initial reaction. I know your answer already though. What season is better? Game of Thrones season 1 or House of the Dragon season 1?
Oh yeah,
I know your answer.
yeah.
So we'll go on 3, and then we'll think about it a little bit more. 3, 2, 1.
House of the Dragon.
Yeah,
House of the Dragon.
Really? You agree?
House of the
Okay.
Dragon.
Yeah.
100%.
I was trying to figure out what happened at the end. Of Game of Thrones season 1. To really try to compare the two, but
Is it weird that I would still say Ned's death is more impactful than Luke's death? And I'll give you why. If Luke's death was as impactful, shit would have got kicked off earlier. To me, I feel like the way that works. Not gonna lie.
No.
There was reason shit didn't get kicked off with Ned's death. They couldn't go strike the city like that. They didn't have the minerals.
I mean, they didn't have the shit in season 1 either.
Who?
Rhaenyra.
Shit me.
They just got everything at the end of season 2.
You heard what Damon said.
Okay, that he just wants smoke.
No, but you heard what he said though.
Okay.
You heard what he said.
All right.
They could have
what'd he say?
They could have. Bro,
What'd he say?
They had Caraxes, they had Melees, they had Cyrax. They could have cut off the West by land effectively, and they could have had every fucking greenhead on spikes before the fucking mood turned. Verbatim is what he said.
No, it didn't play out like that.
Because they fucking waited.
It wouldn't have played out like that. It wouldn't have played out.
You could have bum rushed them niggas. I mean, you could have. Somebody would have got off by Vagar, but sacrifices.
Anyway, that's a different topic.
No, yeah. I'm trolling.
But no, season 1 of House of the Dragon. To me, and I've told you this, and I'm gonna stand by this. So don't be coming at me in the comments. I think both the acting and the writing, in a sense, is better in House of the Dragon than Game of Thrones.
Overall or season 1?
Overall.
Please don't do this.
Overall. Where if you go by season for season, I think the first 2 seasons, the writing in the first 2 seasons and the acting, to me the acting ain't even a question.
Okay.
Hey, that's fair.
Acting's not a question.
The writing though, I think the writing, the way the characters are, the way they interact with each other, the way that certain scenes are, I think it's just better in my opinion.
Season 1 for sure.
Yeah.
Season 1 is as close to a perfect season of TV you gonna get.
Yeah.
Season 1 was crazy.
Yeah.
Season 2, I don't know if I can do that. Season 2 of Game of Thrones, it was a lot, bro.
I don't know.
Season 2 is one of those forgotten seasons for Game of Thrones.
The content of what happens, for sure, Game of Thrones. The writing, though, in my opinion, the writing is better in terms of maybe not the scale of which things are happening, but like I said, the way certain scenes are and the way that these characters are interacting with each other, to me, it's just like a little more refined in House of the Dragon, which it should be. It should be, in my opinion.
I was gonna say the fact that
it should be.
So much more happening so quickly.
No, I mean, but
say that.
you have something to go off of, in my opinion. Like the writing should be better in House of Dragon because we know how good our writing is in Game of Thrones.
Like it can run because Game of Thrones walked.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it should be.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, I think the writing is better.
Okay, so let's stay strictly with season 1. I think
season 1 the writing is better for sure.
I think season 1. You want to talk about something we could sit here all day and talk about, nigga. Season 1 of both is crazy, but I feel like the edge for season 1 of for House of the Dragon. The reason I give it the edge is because of I could take the easy route and I could say the scale. There's fucking dragons fighting in season 1, not for each other, but the battle in the Stepstones and shit like that. But the the fact that it almost, bro, realistically, there's almost a complete story told in season 1 itself.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
And to me, Game of Thrones didn't do that. In its defense, it couldn't because it was so much more that was going to happen.
Yeah.
That's not. It's not a fault that it has.
Yeah.
It's just
It plays into what I was just saying. It should be.
Yeah.
It should be on a different, more
we
refined.
We watched them lay cement.
Exactly.
With Game of Thrones. And,
exactly.
And you built on the foundation.
Exactly. Where House of the Dragon is like, okay, we add into this subdivision of 100 houses we done already built, so we know we can put it up real quick.
Yeah.
And it's still gonna be hit.
Go ahead.
I will say with season 1, House of the Dragon, you talk about inner turmoil with these being the whole story being the House of the Dragon, the families fighting.
Yep.
And Game of Thrones was our family, really our whatever, or what you could say the North, whatever location against
whatever other location.
Houses versus houses type deal. Obviously pursuing the throne, but not even that it's just the writing. I was gonna say it was more enjoyable. It's just the writing.
That's why I said to me, House of the Dragon season 1 tells an entire story, bro.
It does.
Yeah.
Like no bullshit. If you ended it a little bit differently with Luke dying and like how all that ends, if you end that differently, you could tell not the entire, but like you could end it in season 1 and that just be a season of television that just happened.
Yeah.
Because you have the whole succession, you have the story of, in a way, season 1 is the story of King Viserys in a way, and you have that entire thing going on. You have the subtle, well, not subtle, but like you have the off storyline between Daemon and Viserys, and the full circle between him kicking him out in episode 2 and telling him to go on about his merry way. And then throughout the entire season, they have their own situation. Try to reconcile it a little bit once or twice, doesn't work.
Yep.
And then at the end, on his last time ever sitting on the throne, who is it to put his crown back on his head?
Yep.
Daemon.
Yep.
The nigga who, loose cannon, yes, but the most loyal person that there is in the show. Yeah. Loose cannon, absolutely. Can he have his own motives and stuff? Yes. But if you try House Black, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
Yes, Aemon is there, but Daemon would never infight for real with his house.
Yeah.
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 Yes, you have the whole fucking plot line or whatever about like him possibly taking the throne, but as a non-book reader, my book reader's putting me onto the fact that that's not a real plot line. Obviously, I'm not going to try to remove it from the show, but I'm going to take it in the mindset of he wouldn't have tried that with his family. And he wouldn't have tried to force Helena to go ride a dragon, knowing Helena's not going to go ride a dragon into war.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with his daughter, Rhaena. She can't ride a dragon. You see, he didn't try to put her on a dragon and go ride her.
Yeah.
Like he didn't try to do that.
Yeah.
And send her off to her death maybe, or some shit like that. I just think little stuff like that is obviously it's not little, but like it's subtle enough to where it's like it's not a huge plot line.
Yeah.
The different fucking POVs and like how shit ends up playing out with Rhaenyra going to the bridge of Dragonstone to cancel out a potential bloodshed that would have changed the entire outcome of the show. If they fight right there, Daemon and them niggas are gonna smoke them. Mainly because Caraxes is sitting up there. So there's nothing y'all not getting off the island.
Yeah.
Even if y'all somehow kill Daemon, which none of them were gonna do, maybe Kristen Cole, Caraxes is not letting y'all leave. Everybody's dead.
Yeah.
She comes in and nullifies that and doesn't let that happen. But then fast forward to the end, and Queen Rhaenyra now pulls up on the bridge and tells them niggas to get on somewhere because now the shit has changed. And last time when she flies up out of the clouds, you have everybody looking worried, and Daemon is like, okay, well, what the fuck is going on? But this time he asks, where's Rhaenyra? And you just see Daemon just sitting there with his hand on his sword, and she flies over the top of him. That's fucking hard.
Yeah.
That's hard. It's shit like that. Like, the fact that House of the Dragon was able in multiple different facets to have a full circle where Game of Thrones was just getting started.
Yeah, I think the way that the story was told in the first season of how everything was going to play out after that, right? With everything happening to Bran, and then they go to King's Landing and they figure out what King's Landing is, and they all get split up. Blah 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 blah. I think while that is really good storytelling, there's a lot of really good moments. I think seeing the inner turmoil that you said and how everything splits. Every episode it was something. Every episode it was something splitting, and this split is going to cause these things to happen, and this split is going to cause these things to happen, and then you get to the point where you see where everybody is. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit different.
Yep.
A little bit different.
'Cause I came into the show wondering, they said that, and you would be able to quote it better than me, but that nobody could, what did they say?
Like topple the house?
Topple the house, but the house itself or something like that.
In the beginning, see, I'm such a nerd. In the beginning, when the credits open or whatever, you have older, who you don't know at the time, is older Rhaenyra is the one narrating. Mm-hmm. And she says that at that point in King Jaehaerys' reign, House Targaryen stood at the absolute height of its yoke height of its power with 10 at that time adult dragons under its yoke. No one was gonna fuck with them. No one was gonna try them. And to me, I still think for that being the case and that being the setup that you have, and as Viserys, that's what you inherit. I don't think I'll ever see a decision, House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones, any other show that they make, him choosing not to marry Laena will forever be the biggest fuck up for me. I'm not even a House Targaryen supporter in terms of what house I would like to be in. Yeah. But from the perspective of outside looking in, that's the biggest fuck up I've ever seen. House Targaryen literally could have monopolized and became not necessarily like old Valyria and whatever they were, because even he said we could never be, like Allison asked him if you think, she was like, do you think y'all could get back to what y'all were? He was like, no, not at its height, but there's a chance we could establish an outrageous amount of dominance. Mm-hmm. Even what they were right before the fighting kicked off, like, no one would have ever tried House Targaryen for real. Yeah. But if he marries Laena, and Laena ended up riding Vhagar, and if he has kids with her as an adult, and they have more dragon hatching children, and all this, that, and the third. And at that point, Aegon, you say those are now family kids. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Corlys and Rhaenys are not gonna have. They were loyal. Yeah. House Targaryen then becomes a fucking empire again. Yeah. He sold. That's some sellout shit. That's the biggest fuck up I've ever seen. I've never seen a nigga sell the bag worse.
And so I say that to say I came into the show hearing that, trying to understand, trying to wrap my mind around how does family how are they so self-interested or have put their self-interest first that they can pursuing the crown and
to the point of war. Because it's not like we've never seen that before in Game of Thrones. You had jealous family members that tried shit.
I mean, it's the Game of Thrones. That's what it is.
Right. Yeah. It's because they weren't fully family. It was because the Greens got involved and Otto got involved and Allison got involved. Yep. If you House Green, click off the video, nigga.
So for that to be able
to which that could be another topic, but like
we could do that a different day.
There's no sides. It's clearly one side is wrong, clearly one side is right. It makes sense.
I will say, out of the complete ignorance that none of us read the books, maybe there's something in the books that makes y'all feel that way.
I know what I'm watching. I know what I'm watching.
Maybe there's something in the books that makes...
Allison is a snake. Okay. Kristen Cole is a snake.
She's a dumb snake.
They all snakes,
pointless
bro.
Character.
Yeah. Annoying.
Like I said, on a serious note, though, maybe there is something in the books that makes them closer to that decision. Okay. But like he said, right is right, wrong is wrong. If he named her the fucking heir, my hands are washed. I don't have to even I don't have to say anything.
Not even. We don't even got to. That to me is too far down the line. Go back to the initial when her dad was like, "Hey, I'm gonna need you to go in here and get cozy with him. This is your best
Yeah,
friend's
best
dad?
friend's dad.
Wife
That
just
you
died.
didn't-
Wife just died.
Wife just died.
Yo, you were so cool with the wife that died when at the beginning of the show she went into the pregnancy room and saw the mom.
So you
Because
know
she didn't have a mom of her own. So
Didn't have a mom of her own.
so you know this is wrong.
Crazy.
You know
Fuck
don't-
outta here, man.
You know right. You know this is wrong.
You niggas are
know,
y'all
you know
team
it don't
green.
feel right. You know it
You
don't
niggas
feel,
are team green.
You know it don't feel right, and you still go along with it.
It ain't never been about
And
that.
and then you cool. You start fucking with the king. Now you get a little bit of taste of that power. Now you trying to put her in line.
Man.
Now you trying to talk to her crazy.
queen said-
Telling her to
said-
shit. Huh? Nah.
She's
Nah.
she's
There-
she's sitting there peacefully minding her business, reading her book in the Godswood,
Coming at her crazy.
having this nigga sing a little song on a fucking ukulele. She walk in there pregnant with a second child, by the way, and she said the princess requests you to say her. She said the queen commands you to leave the Godswood. I'm like,
No. Fuck all that.
and then when she
Fuck
tried,
all
and,
that.
and then when she tried to walk off, she says, "None of it need be this way, Rhaenyra. In truth." Do you see
You
what
making
just
it
did?
this
Who you?
You making it
You.
this way.
You? What are we talking about?
You.
What?
No. So
Pointless.
yeah.
Pointless.
All that, obviously everything that happens when he's dying and she, does what she does, that cool. Obviously
even got there.
that's fucked up.
You're
But
just
to
an
me,
idiot.
Shouldn't even got there.
no, it shouldn't even
No.
got to that point.
No.
It shouldn't even got to that point. Because when Otto came to her with that shit, she was like, "What the fuck? Like, I'm not doing that." Cool. What'd you do?
Did it anyway. And then
And then you
Twisted
got
my arm.
yeah, and
We
then
had another conversation about
you gotta you wasn't even just like with him uncomfortably. You got a little bit of taste of that power. You like, okay, this kind of cool, huh?
like when Damon said when they went back in episode 8 and that was their first time there in like however many years, 10 years, 6 years, whatever, and he's walking through and Rhaenyra's like I haven't been home so long. This shit don't even I don't know, something feels off. And this nigga just says, And then it pans to the fact that they removed the dragons, and now there's the signs of the sept and all that shit, the 7-pointed star.
Yeah.
So then when she came in there and she tried to bullshit with them,
Yep.
obviously Rhaenyra wasn't gonna go for no bullshit. But if she would have came by herself, that conversation goes different. Damon was calling her out on all her bullshit while he was just sitting there. Yeah. He said, I have no doubt that you tried to serve the realm with your utmost sincerity or whatever the fuck you want to say.
Nah.
But please tell me, did this shit also require the removal of dragons and the installations of 7-pointed stars, bro? What are we doing?
Yep.
You expect me to believe the shit you doing is out of the kindness of your heart? Fuck out of here.
Nope. It started with her dad, who she thought that she wasn't like, and she was exactly like him in a sense. She's not nowhere near as cunning, but she's exactly like him in terms of that power aspect. That's why I love how season 2 ended, because she go to Rhaenyra and she try to, you know what I'm saying?
Have that conversation.
So, no, I know I messed up this, that, and the third. Let my kids live. Rhaenyra was like, no.
It's too late.
It's
for that,
way,
man.
way
Like,
too
no.
late.
Past
Yeah.
that point.
No, I didn't already came to you, this, that, and the third. I
tried to do this shit earlier. I really tried to do this shit earlier.
I tried.
And you taking my
And
kindness for weakness like I'm not capable.
And she's at the point now to where she's speaking it. It's one thing to feel it. She's telling him, you know I'm gonna have to kill your son, right?
Right, and
he can't be alive.
And
he can't live. I'm gonna have to kill him.
more for a political point, because maybe she don't even want to kill Aegon, but from
I
a
think she do at this point.
No, but I'm saying even if she doesn't want to, which she does, but even if she don't want to,
Yeah.
like she said, the eyes of the people, they not gonna fully accept her unless she off this nigga when she get there.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
And from the standpoint of the blacks, in a weird way, it almost doesn't feel like it, but the blacks are losing the war. Y'all done killed Rhaenys and Luke is dead.
Yep.
No, I can't not kill him. I have to now.
Yep.
Y'all killed Rhaenys and Luke.
Yep.
It's not a choice anymore. It's not about what I want to do.
Yep.
I gotta get my lick back. That's it.
Yeah.
And so that makes it so interesting and complex as to what the fuck she's gonna think when she gets there and he's not there, because him and old boy left.
Yeah.
Paris.
Yeah.
They left. So I'm very curious to see what Rhaenyra is gonna think.